How about some practical solutions? I know those of us that want to be part of the solution, we don't just want to talk about things. We just don't want to believe that we know what is right. We actually want to do something. We want to put our faith into action, into the works that we do with our life. That's exactly what we're called to do. We're called to live as Christians. So how do we do that to the best of our ability? Well, we don't have to be politicians. We don't have to be on a world stage and be recognized in order to make a difference in the lives that are around us. In fact, you can't legislate love. We can't do that in our country. We can't think that just because we pass new laws or just because our politicians are taking care of it, that all of a sudden we're going to have solutions. We can't legislate love, and that's what Christians are called to do. That's what humanity is called to do. That's how we live out God's dream of being one. That's how we live out what we actually desire when we share in God's dream of having a human race that lives as one. And we do that through the gift of love, of supernatural love. And one of the ways that we can do that in a very practical way, a simple way, is just by listening. I found that to be so helpful for me. I have friends, family members. I have people that I'm talking to about these issues, keeping it fresh on my mind. I'm listening to different perspectives, even those that I don't agree with, and especially those that I don't agree with, so that I can grow my mind and my heart. When we practice that virtue of listening, doesn't that show a dignity and respect to someone that's just right next to us? We show them that infinite dignity, that whatever is on their heart, that I actually have respect enough and I have the time enough to listen to what's important to them. That's showing a dignity to the person that's next to us, and especially with those who we don't agree with. Because then we get to grow our minds. We get to understand a different perspective that isn't our own. And if it's a good perspective, and if it's based on truth, and if it's based on the gospel, then we just grew in our wisdom and in our intelligence. And if it's not based on truth, or it's not based on the gospel, if it's not based on the Lord whom we serve, then maybe we have an opportunity to share our perspective and to bring truth into a situation that's lacking. This is what humanity is meant to do, to live in relationships with one another. And one of those ways that we can do that is not just showing each other love, not just listening, but being reconciled. We talk about forgiveness, and forgiveness is one level. Right? We have been forgiven by God. We desire to forgive one another. And forgiveness is one level, but reconciliation is another. And for humanity to live together, we're going to have to be reconciled. I know that sounds like a tall order. Reconciled means that we're going to live together in harmony. Sounds almost impossible, right? Well, it might be impossible for the human race because we have a lust for dominance, because we don't desire to be humble, because we don't desire all the time to look at ourselves, our sinful self, and be humble enough to know that maybe I need to change. And that goes for every single person in the world, a recognition that I need to be humbled and to change. We can say that sounds like a tall order for this humanity, a sinful humanity, especially those who don't know God. How will we ever come to that? Well, here's a thing that we can do today. It's very easy to be reconciled with God, because the other party whom we're dealing with, the one whom we want to be reconciled with, it's his dream to be reconciled with us. He's waiting. He's waiting for us to turn back to him. That's the only thing that he wants for our life. And so why won't we take that opportunity? All we have to do is come before the Lord and say, I've messed up. I've had views, I've had actions in my life. I struggle with temptation. I have lacked justice. And in all those ways, I examine my conscience and I come before the Lord and I say, here's all the ways that I've messed up. Here's all the ways that I've been sinful. Here's how the ways that I've sinned against you and against my brothers and sisters. Here's the way that I've worked against the oneness of your dream. And I come before the Lord and I just ask for forgiveness. Lord, forgive me. Please forgive me. I am repentant. I want to be better. I want to be humbled before you. It's the hard part to be humble. It's the easy part to be forgiven by God because it doesn't cost him anything. He has given everything. The victory with the Lord is won. So let's be reconciled first to him. That is the way that we begin to reform ourselves. We begin to live out that dream of being one with God. And then we put that into practice, attempting at all times to be one with our brothers and sisters.